Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another build video in The Sims 4. So today I am building a brand new gym for the world of San Myshuno, which is the world that came with the City Living expansion pack. And I'm actually building this on the lot where the gym is originally. So this world does come with a gym, but I don't really like it. I will eventually renovate it, but this is not a renovation. This is actually a brand new gym. One thing that I really wanted to do was have a basketball court. So of course that is what I started out building. I'm kind of building this for my Gemini sim in my Zodiac Challenge Let's Play, and he just kind of randomly got into basketball. I say randomly, I probably pushed him into basketball a little bit because he grew up in a house that had a basketball court in the backyard, and so it just kind of made sense. I knew he was going to be moving to the city, and I believe the whole basketball thing came from the City Living expansion pack as well. And one of the neighborhoods has a basketball court. And so I just kind of wanted that to be a part of his story. But he ends up being an insider as well. And so insiders really like being in club gatherings. I don't feel like I'm particularly fond of the club gatherings in the game. I don't use that feature much unless I'm trying to meet someone or unless it's a requirement. And it's actually not a requirement for this sim to be in clubs, but I feel like because it's part of his personality, I do like him to have a few clubs that he can get together with. But I wanted to start a new club of people who played basketball together, and so I wanted to build a special gym where the basketball court was more visible. There is actually a basketball court with this original gym as well. And I didn't realize that at first, but it's on the second floor, I think, of the gym that used to be here. So I've never noticed it in all the times that I've been to this gym. I've never once noticed that basketball court. So to be honest, I probably could have just renovated that one, but I decided to just build a brand new gym. And this is what it's looking like right now. It's pretty minimalistic, in my opinion, for me at least, as far as building goes on the exterior. Maybe a little less minimalistic on the interior, but not as much clutter as I usually would use for sure. But as you guys can see, we now have the basketball court right there. When you come into this lot, you're going to see it. You're not going to miss it. You're not going to mistake it. I use these debug lights from the high school years pack. I feel like they're supposed to kind of look like stadium lights, and I felt like they were perfect for the basketball court, but they don't actually have lights because they're debug or live edit, whichever one. So I had to go back and get some of the saucer lights to go with them. I kind of placed it to where you couldn't really see the saucer light, but at least now they actually have lights, or at least it looks like it. If you're here at night, the basketball court is lit up, and I feel like those lights are just exactly what that area needed. I looked at the other outdoor lighting that I had, the ones that weren't debugged, so they would actually work, but I just couldn't find anything I was happy with like that one. This build does have an inspiration picture as well, and I will try to remember to put it up on the screen now where you guys can see what I was trying to build. I feel like it definitely doesn't do the inspiration picture justice, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out, so I can't complain too much about it. I think it's an actual building, but I can't tell you where it exists or where it's from or anything like that. I saw it on Pinterest. I don't think there was any description with the pin whatsoever, but it does look like a real building. Sometimes it's hard to tell anymore with all the AI stuff, but this one does look like it's something that actually exists, and I think it's a beautiful building, and I felt like it would make a good gym. And I also felt like it was small enough that I could have room for the basketball court. And also, I don't really like building gyms. I think this is like my second gym ever that I've built. I know I did the gym in Willow Creek, and if I've done another gym, I genuinely cannot remember it, but I do have a tendency to forget about builds after a while because I've been building for a while, so it's easy to forget about stuff. But I don't really like doing gyms because I don't feel like I have a lot of clutter for it. You guys know I like to clutter. If you've been around my channel, you know that I like to have a lot of clutter. It adds to the ambiance. It makes it feel a little bit more realistic, but community spaces are difficult in my opinion in that way because there's not typically a ton of clutter around community spaces. They're usually a little bit cleaner than your average residential home. So I always kind of struggle with that. And then I don't have a lot of clutter to choose from for gym specific builds. So I used a ton of that base game sports equipment. It's like a pile of sports equipment. I used that all over the build. You guys will see that just randomly. I also used a lot of backpacks, which might seem weird, but I don't have a gym bag to use. If I had something that looked more like a gym bag, I would definitely try to use that instead of the backpack. But I figure some people take their gym equipment with them with a backpack, or they pack some extra clothes or something like that. So I have backpacks kind of scattered throughout the build. This is actually the front of the build right here. This is the front of the lot. And I will say, I wasn't super happy with this. I feel happy with most of it, but over on the left side where I have these benches sitting here right now, I just felt like it looked really empty. And I tried to kind of tweak it and make it work. I tried to add that one little poster. I'm going to call it a poster. It looks more like graffiti, but I tried to add that. It's got that red accent as well, which I wasn't super happy with because there's not really a lot of red anywhere else in this build. But honestly, that part of the build isn't nice looking anyway because the lighting from this side of this lot is atrocious. The lighting comes in from the other side, so the back side of the build looks so much better than the front side. So I finally decided just to not worry about it too much, and I left it pretty much like you guys just saw it. I think I left it like that. I don't remember going back and doing anything else to the front of the build. But I also got some kind of little bike rack looking thing from the high school years debug menu, and I added a few bikes there as well. I didn't playtest the bikes when I playtested this build because I didn't want my sim to move them. I didn't want them to jump on the bike and then take them away from where I had them placed because I was happy with where they were placed. So I don't actually know if the bikes are functional. They should be, but I did not playtest that. Everything else in the build I did playtest and it was completely functional, or I fixed it. I don't feel like I had many functionality issues in this build, to be honest. I was actually kind of surprised at how smoothly it went. It went so quickly, so easily. Playtesting does not always go that easily for me, so I was very, very happy with the way this build turned out. But over here on the side of the basketball court, I put a locker just for Sims to be able to put their stuff. You know, obviously not super useful in the game, but a kind of realistic moment to have somewhere that you can lock up your stuff and store your stuff before you go in. We also have some benches over there as well. And then in the back of the lot, so this area, like I said, much better lit than the front of the lot, but also it's overlooking the whole city. This is a skyscraper lot, so it's way up high, and back here, you're looking over the whole of San Myshuno, or at least that's what it feels like. So at first, I was thinking that I was going to do a little yoga area out here, or a little meditation garden, but I changed my mind and I decided to do a bar because I think it's nice to have a bar at gym venues just so your Sims can grab a drink if they'd like to, a little refreshing situation after their workout. So I knew I wanted a bar, but when I got back here, I thought, who needs a meditation garden when you can sit here and have a nice drink after your workout? I feel like this is such a beautiful place. So I got one of the bars from the spa day pack, and that's what I'm working on right now. It's a very simple little area, but once again, it's community space, so I didn't want to go overboard with just too much stuff that doesn't make sense. I did add a little hopscotch area in the front of the lot, which honestly, there's nothing else for kids here, so that probably doesn't make much sense. If you want to delete it, you can delete it. Like I mentioned, I was really insecure about the front of this build anyway, which, as always, if you guys want to delete any of this stuff, feel free to change it and make it whatever works best for you, whatever you want in your game. I did get a little meditation stool out there by the back door as well, just one, but you could possibly add some more if you'd like. And then there's a drink tray as well from the spa day pack, so your Sims can get a nice little drink like that, or they can go to the bar, make their own drink, or they can hire a mixologist for 100 simoleons, and a mixologist will come out here and tend the bar for a little while. Going into the interior of the gym, on the second floor, I decided to make this a little yoga area because I felt like it was a good space for it, like it was a good amount of space to fit in one of the yoga instructor's mats. I've never built a yoga studio before in the game, and to be honest, I've never even thought about it, but after building this, I kind of want to do a yoga studio, like specifically a yoga studio, not necessarily a gym as well, or maybe that would go better with a spa. I don't know, but I feel very inspired by this particular area. I thought it turned out so well. I did different color yoga mats. They're all super colorful and fun. And then this is completely functional as well. Your yoga instructor will show up, he'll have classes, or she'll have classes, It was a male instructor when I was playtesting, so that's why I said that. But yeah, everything seemed to be working really well, and I just tried to make it a really cozy area. I thought about putting a TV in here, back where the flower pictures are, but I decided not to because I think it should be a peaceful, relaxing place. And I feel like if I put a TV in there, that some random sim would come in the middle of yoga class and crank it up as loud as they could get it. And so I decided not to do that. I went with the nice little flower pictures instead, but I do put a little stereo in there just for some peaceful music. And then over here on this little walkway, I kind of just did a little seating area, a little waiting area, kind of is what we'll call it. It's a little bit unnecessary, but there wasn't much else that I could fit up there. So I thought maybe as you're waiting for a class to start, you would have a little space that you could sit, maybe a little area you could sign up. Or if you're there with someone else and you don't want to do yoga, maybe you could look through the magazines and sit there and just kind of chill out and relax. So that's what that spot is. And then on the first floor, we have the bathrooms. I made the bathroom area quite large unintentionally because I was going to use the high school year's bathroom stalls. And those are 3 tiles, like 3x2 tile big object. It's a very large object. So I needed to have a big space for it because that's just the toilet. There's no sink, there's no shower obviously involved in that either. And so I had the bathroom like this. I go on and decorate the interior area. I did this little counter situation with a computer to make it look like a little reception area where you would sign in, or you could get some help if you needed to, like set up your membership, that kind of thing. The computer is functional as well if your Sims do want to use it. But then I realized when I came back into the bathroom that this is a gym and I need showers, and I wasn't sure where I was going to put the showers unless I got rid of those bathroom stalls. So I didn't end up using those. I have 2 full bathrooms, which have the toilet, the shower, and the sink, everything you need. And then there was that one little small 2x1 space, and I wasn't able to fit a full bathroom in there, so I just did a shower. So there is an extra shower if you need it. There's a little bit of an extra space. I had a little trouble with that area overall because I had the toilets next to the shower, and I kind of forgot temporarily how to do this 2x2 bathroom. So I had to cut a little bit of that footage out because I struggled with the bathroom a little bit more than expected. But then we still have this large area over to the side of it, and I have the sinks that are in the bathroom. Like sometimes with community lots, I'll put the sink on the outside of the bathroom stalls, but there was no need to do that because I was able to fit the sinks into the bathroom. So I decided to go for the locker room vibe. It's a gym, so it does make sense. So I put a ton of lockers down. I think I used the ones from Spa Day on the interior because I felt like it matched my color scheme pretty well. For most of this build, I have a very light wood tone. I will say, as you guys probably know, the wood tones in The Sims 4 are a bit tricky. So every now and again, you may see something that looks a bit out of place or that doesn't really match. The windows don't really match the build perfectly, but I feel like it's not super noticeable. So it's fine. But I did use the Spa Day lockers in here where I used the base game lockers on the outside of the build because I felt like they looked a little bit more like they would fit into the exterior. They're a little less nice. The ones from Spa Day, they look fancy. But as far as clutter on the interior, I used a ton of high school year stuff as well. Maybe not a ton, but specifically in this locker room, I used some of the trophies from the football team and the cheerleading team. I used some of those flags as well, just to make it look a little bit sportier. And I placed footballs all around, basketballs, anywhere I could fit them. I also have a few piles of clothing, like a piles of laundry, I think is what the object's called. I have a few of those throughout the build as well. And it's kind of meant to look like somebody's taken off their sweatshirt that they came into the gym with and they've kind of tossed it aside. I mean, I know realistically people don't leave their clothes laying around the gym, but it's just meant to look a little messy. Or I figured as well it might could be like towels kind of thrown aside. I mean, it looks like clothes, but it could be towels if you use your imagination. I did the little high school years mascot as well because I thought he was cute sitting up there. And I used a ton of towels for decor as well. I do have plenty of plants. Okay, I tried to tone it down. I know I have a tendency to overuse plants, especially on community lots, but I needed a few of them, and I do have a few of them all throughout the build. But I feel like I kept it pretty reasonable as far as the plants go. Also, I was able to get a woohoo spot into this build. Originally, I actually planned to put it in the locker room area, and then I forgot about it. So I got completely done with the locker room, and then I remembered that I wanted to have a woohoo closet in there. So I ended up actually just putting it in the back corner of the build, kind of off on its own, out of the way. I really was happy with the way my locker room was looking. I didn't want to change it. I decided just to leave it alone. But the woohoo closets are kind of complicated when it comes to functionality because your Sims actually need to use that empty tile. There's 2 tiles in front of it, and you would think that you just need the one that's in front of the door, but that's wrong. You actually need both of them to be pretty empty for your Sims to be able to use it because they kind of hug each other or something. There's some interaction they have on that second tile before they go into the woohoo closet. So I currently have a plant that's in that area, and I knew it was risky. I knew I would have to move it, and I did end up having to move it, but it's really okay. I just kind of reshuffled a few things around. And I took the little bucket thing that you get from the laundry day pack. It looks like a little cleaning bucket. There's like paper towels in it and a rag. But I actually ended up moving that over there where the plant was. And I moved the plant somewhere else. I think just on the other side of the closet door. I think I moved it over there. But anyway, whatever I did to it, it's completely functional now. And it didn't give me any more issues. But the woohoo closets are kind of finicky about functionality. They kind of get on my nerves because I don't like that empty spot. I like to put something there and then it causes functionality issues, which is just a little bit irritating. But as long as it works in the end, then all's well that ends well and it's fine. It's functional. That's what matters. That's the most important thing. But as far as the main area of the gym, I got a couple of treadmills. I think weirdly enough, I have like 2 of everything. I might have 3 workout machines. Weight machines. I don't know what they're called. I might have 3 of those, but I got 2 treadmills. I think I ended up with 2 punching bags as well. And then I also placed some benches over here in the treadmill area just to take up space. But I feel like the benches are nice because if you wanted to take a sim on a date here, you have some options for sitting and chatting, which is usually one of the requirements for a date or one of the things you need to check off the list. And so I feel like it was nice to have a few options of places to sit and chat and just have a good time. Also, in the front of the build, there's a vending machine. I placed it in one of the little bump outs, and at first I was using one of the archways, and I've done that before, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but today it was not working, and so I ended up having to get rid of that archway when I play tested, and I used spandrels and columns instead. I didn't love that. I feel like it doesn't look as nice as it does with the archway, but once again, I know that functionality is the most important thing. So it is completely functional. The whole build's functional. It should be on the gallery now. If you guys are interested, you can find it under the gallery ID Sims with Sarah, or I also use the same hashtag. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like this build. I will see you very soon with another video, but that is all for this one. So bye guys.